Certainty of death, small chance of success. What are we waiting for?
Fellas, I feel this is my lucky day.
Brilliant.
Hey, welcome to another episode of Rankin. This will be a fun one today. It'll be actually really tough one for me personally. But we're ranking James Cameron's filmography. And yeah, I've got a great panel here. I've got Austin here. Austin, how's it going?
Yes, I wonder what Pez's number one will be. We'll see. It's a great mystery of the universe for anybody who knows me. No, but it's always a fun time talking James Cameron. I like the guy quite a bit. I just wish he would get out of Avatar land and go back and make some other movies, just personally. But it should be fun ranking.
But we've also got Jonathan here. Jonathan, how's it going?
I'm doing well. Yeah, it's been a minute since I've been here. Talking about a great director, talking about his great movies here. Yeah, I do agree that he should get out of Avatar land and direct like an original sci-fi piece. But spoiler alert, there are no bad movies on here. So yeah, it's going to be an honor to just talk about these great movies.
I mean, to be fair, he is getting out of Avatar land to do a Billie Eilish concert movie next year.
All things.
Okay.
But yeah, how these work, especially for these, we vote on the movie we want at 8, and we'll talk about that movie and move on to the next one. We aren't including Piranha 2 because he didn't really direct that.
We have no idea who directed Piranha 2. There's 800 stories about who actually directed that movie. We have no idea.
And the fact that James Cameron's been actively sort of trying to take his name off of it. And we might even, we've got Richie on his way, so I'm going to try and delay this as much as possible. And also for reasons that should be obvious to everyone, we're not including Avatar Fire and Ash because no one's seen it. It hasn't actually been released yet. I only put it on the poll because next week is going to be the last episode of Ranking for the Year, and I wanted it to be a Christmas topic. So I wanted to try and cover as much stuff on that I wouldn't have got to.
And we're not including his couple of underwater documentaries, right? We should say that as well.
The best or anything like that.
Yeah. So, I mean, I did decide to actually watch Ghost of the Abyss for that. It's a good documentary.
I saw it in IMAX like years ago at an IMAX theater. It was at one of those museums or something like that. So yeah, it's good. I mean, and Cameron has a an affinity for that kind of stuff, and he's actually very passionate about that. But yeah, it's not a crazy theatrical movie.
But he's probably going to get here by the time we get around talking about the first movie. We'll just start.
If I know him, he's probably going to have a similar ranking to me. So I think it'll be. I don't think he'll be that crazy about it.
But Austin, what do you have at number 8?
OG Avatar.
Jonathan, what do you have at 8?
Avatar: The Way of Water.
I mean, I'm probably going to be sitting on this one before, but I've got the Terminator.
Oh,
but,
no. No.
I mean, we could text Richie.
Terminator. That's some blasphemy right there. You might be sitting on that for a minute.
I mean, it's one of those ones like you know my feelings about Terminator. I've only just started coming round on them now. I did rewatch it. It just didn't change. I do like all of the movies. It's not like I don't like these as well.
Yeah. Well.
I mean,
it's the mystery.
He sees it's coming. He'll either drop in here and tell us.
If he says like true lies, then I was like,
oh no, then we'd have to go to the chat regardless. Yeah.
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 Which, At the moment, well, I mean, I know Eric said he's going to be in the chat, but he's too sick to be on camera, which is fair enough. I hope you get better soon.
Hope he gets better.
Mm-hmm.
But
what are the chances he's going to make another $1 billion?
I mean,
I'm really wondering because nobody gave the second one a prayer, and then it did. I think a big chunk of it is international. You always have to remember that they love these movies internationally. China loves these movies. You know,
And,
Zootopia 2 is
so
Zootopia 2 is making all that. Maybe I just don't know how much the interest is sticking for the United States. I don't know.
Well, I mean, no, it's one of those ones because I think Avatar: The Way of Water did reignite. But anyway, we may get to that. We never know. Richie, what do you have at number 8?
Number 8. So is this out of how many? Like, is it like?
There's 8 total that we're talking about.
8 movies. That's right.
How many movies?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I figured, but I was just making sure. Honestly, Avatar.
Okay. So
There you go.
The first Avatar is going to be at 8.
That's what I had, Richie. So
I said another Avatar movie anyway, so I'm okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Stephen. But Awesome, what are your thoughts about the first Avatar?
Yeah, no, you know, I mean, I saw it when it came out in the theaters, and I saw it in IMAX 3D. You know, it is a spectacle. I do like the world that they set up. I think it is interesting and kind of fascinating. My thing with the Avatar movies, and especially this one, is it's like these movies make a lot of money, and we're in this world. I still don't know. I can't get a good gauge on how they've impacted pop culture that much because I've only gone back and watched it twice since then. I saw it once at some point in the 2010s, and then I watched it again before Way of Water came out, and that's it. I've never had an inkling to like go back and like live in this world or revisit it over and over again. So, you know, I appreciate the technology that's on display and the special effects. They still hold up. They work. You know, it's a good ensemble. I like Stephen Lang. It does have a Giovanni Ribisi problem, but that's a whole nother issue just for me. But, you know, there is some silly stuff. They call it like unobtainium, which is stupid. That's really dumb. You know, so there's some silly things, but I've just never, in my rankings, it's the inkling to go back to these movies or rewatchability is kind of big for me. So I've never had an inkling to go back and rewatch these a lot. So, yeah, the original one goes in a break, but I don't think it's a bad movie.
But Jonathan, what do you have? What your thoughts about the first Avatar?
Okay, it's like, oh, wait, this is a new rule now. Okay, no, Avatar. No, I like it very much. I think I just have it a little higher just for nostalgic reasons. I thought that was like a new world that I entered into, and I just keep that a hold of me. And but the story is not very original. That's the thing. And I used to go back to it a lot, but then thinking about it, it feels like a sci-fi version of Dances with Wolves and The Last Samurai. So if you're familiar with
Ferngully as well.
And Ferngully, yes. So if you're familiar with those movies, I mean, it's not, you know, it's not any different. It's really just the visual effects, and it's stunning. The action sequences are great. Zoe Saldana, we really underestimate her as a motion capture actress, and she does a good job giving a great performance. So, and yeah, Avatar is a good movie. So yeah, it's fine as it is. Number 8.
But Richie, what are your thoughts about Avatar?
Yeah, I like it overall, but yeah, I think it's maybe style over substance or whatever. I think he expected this. I think when he made it too, he expected this to enter into this whole like 3D boom, and it did. 3D, it did enter. It did kind of introduce like 3D was, you know, after that was a thing for a while, but it never took off. You know, they introduced like, you know, your 3D TVs that lasted for that was a fad. I knew that was gonna get bad, but like yeah, I think that was supposed to. I think it was supposed to have more of a mark on pop culture than it actually did. And yeah, I it's just like, yeah, it's pretty to look at, but like it's not something to go back to because yeah, I think it's style over substance. I don't think the stories they're necessarily I think we were also in that time where hey, Sam Worthington's your star, and he was just I don't know, he wasn't. I don't think he was great here. He's way better in the second one, and yeah, I don't know. I just think it's all right. I think it's a good achievement. I appreciate it, but yeah, it's a good movie. But yeah, it's low on the list because it's nowhere near as good as his the other ones I'll talk about.
Yeah, no, it's one of those ones. Like I've always been a sort of a big defender of avatars. Like, I really enjoy the sort like when it comes to like sci-fi fantasies. Like I really do enjoy a good science fiction thing, and this is one of those ones that sort of came out of sort of nowhere, but it's just one of those ones that I have gone back to a lot since, and I just keep enjoying it the more I watch it. And honestly, I might actually rewatch it before I see the new one that's coming out. And it's always one of those ones. I'm always curious to wonder if he always planned on doing a sequel to it, or if it was just something that is like he never planned on it, but because it made money, it's like he was kind of forced into it. I'll just walk up the street and ask him one of these days. Yeah. But with that, we're moving on to number 7. Jonathan, what do you have at 7?
Way of Water.
Richie, what do you have at 7?
Might be hot. I got The Abyss.
I mean, you want to talk about hot takes? I've got the Terminator, so.
That is a hot take, yes.
Oh, so what do you have at 7?
Way of Water.
But Jonathan, what are your thoughts about Avatar: The Way of Water?
Yeah, it's very good, yes. But I think for me it just takes a while to get going. And I was confused like who is who, with the Na'vi. But no, the world kept on building and building as we enter new worlds within that world of Pandora. Visually, it's stunning. It takes a while for the story to get going, and it does build to a great third hour. The third hour rarely becomes the best part, and it is the best part of the movie, and with some stunning action and some higher stakes. And that for me was the part that got me anticipating for Fire and Ash. I was like, okay, where are we gonna go? So, yeah, Way of Water, very good movie.
Richie, what are your thoughts about Avatar: The Way of Water?
Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised how much I enjoyed this movie compared to the first one. I think it's because there was less, maybe less sort of world building in that sense of like getting introducing the characters, because there was a lot of I love the action. I think the action was great, and that final the third act is really good. There's a lot of characters that you got to get to know as well. It can be overwhelming, but I know. I think it was. I was pleasantly surprised, and I thought that. I always go into this thinking that the runtime is going to. I'm going to feel the runtime because So even going into Fire and Ash, I'm like, get it. I'm probably going to enjoy myself, but my God, it's going to be long, and I don't. But I didn't really. Can't say I felt the runtime necessarily for Way of Water. So I thought it was pretty good. I didn't have this much. I didn't have this much higher up, so it's like I'm fine with it being number 7.
No, it's one of those ones like Way of Water was one that really surprised me. Is like he took from what he took with the world building from the first one, he managed to make it actually really good story and all that. And I think it really fleshed it out, the world out a lot more. And it's one of those ones I think I kind of enjoyed the new characters that was introduced. But it's one of those ones like Kate Winslet playing the daughter of Sigourney Weaver. Was it kind of an interesting choice?
I thought Sigourney Weaver was the daughter.
Sigourney Weaver's the daughter. Yeah, that's why it's interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
No, I think I mixed up the characters.
Kate Winslet is the pregnant.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just thought the story was really good, and But Austin, what do you thought about Avatar: The Way of Water?
Yeah, no, I did think it was like a slight improvement on the first one, and maybe it's because we had already established kind of our primary characters, and we sort of jump right into more of a straightforward adventure, from the beginning, with then bouncing around and settling in, with the water tribe. I thought the water stuff was fairly interesting. I mean, James Cameron, say what you will, the man knows how to handle like underwater sequences and water sequences. He knows what he's doing, as I'm sure we'll talk about. And that final action sequence is extended but very good. And maybe it's just because we had a little more to just kind of jump in and get our feet on the ground here. The family dynamic is good, so I found myself thinking it was slightly better than the original, so I was slightly higher, but still at the bottom of the list. Essentially,
But Eric, let us know in the chat that both Avatars have been high on my list. But then he followed up with. I know I'm crazy, but
you're gonna be sitting on that for a little bit, man.
Look, if you haven't known my takes, you know my takes. Right. I've only just recently come around on them, but anyway.
Yes.
Moving on to number 6. Richie, what do you have for 6?
Oh no, I'll stay with the Abyss.
I'm staying for this. Austin.
I have True Lies at 6.
And Jonathan.
We're in agreement, Austin. True Lies.
True Lies. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
But Richie, what are your thoughts about True Lies?
This is one of my favorite action movies of all time. I love this movie so much. I think the chemistry between just all the cast really, but Arnie and Jamie Lee Curtis is fire. I think it's great. I think it's just a great sort of it's a great action comedy. I don't think it doesn't feel like it doesn't feel like a James Cameron film. That's probably the thing as well. It doesn't feel like very something that he'd do necessarily, but it's just a lot of fun. Yeah, you have the sort of Arnie wisecracks, but I think he's so like charismatic here, and I think he plays off well with like Tom Arnold as well. I think it's really good, just really solid action. And then that scene where she where like just like drops the gun downstairs and it's still killing everybody. It's still very funny. I love that scene. Halo. So I probably I would have had a couple of places higher, but anytime I get to talk about the movie, it's all good for me. So as well.
It was actually thanks to Piers that got me onto finally getting around to watching True Lies, because for the longest time I hadn't seen it, and I remember seeing there was added when it was added to Disney Plus. I think it was either last year or the year before. When I finally got around to watching it, and I've watched it many times since then, and I'm glad it's now finally on physical media that we can buy too now. Because it took James Cameron a while to do that, but he finally did it. But I think it's a really good spy movie. I think Arnie and Jamie Curtis have good chemistry, and yet this would have been a lot higher for me personally. But it is what it is. Awesome. What are your thoughts about True Lies?
I think it's a really good action movie. Just there's something missing from it that's prevented it from being like one of my favorite action movies or anything like that. I've always enjoyed it when I've gone back to it, and I think I've kind of locked in on my nitpicks with it. I do think it kind of drags in the middle, honestly, and with the Bill Paxton stuff. And I love Bill Paxton, but to me, the Bill Paxton sequence and that storyline feels kind of unnecessary. Like you could almost yank it out of the movie, and it wouldn't have a whole lot of impact on the plot because I don't think it really goes anywhere other than to get Jamie Lee Curtis pseudo involved in the plot. But I feel like there's a different, quicker way you could get there. Like there's a quicker way you could get there without that character, because all that character does is you rope it back around at the beginning and he's still doing it and then make him pee his pants again. I'm like, okay, is that really like where we went with? And I love Paxton. I think he sells it. Like, I think he sells being a little weasel very well. But yeah, it just feels like it's going in a circle. It's like a curvy line when we could have gotten a straight line, I think, with something much quicker to get Jamie Lee involved in the plot. And to me, it just feels like it's just kind of meandering in the middle there. But the sequences are good in the middle of the movie. Like the opening sequence is great. It's a total James Bond sequence, and I enjoy the opening quite a bit. The mall sequence is fun. That chase. There's some dated stuff in it. I think there's some dated stuff with the villain, and some of the special effects are a little dated. And boy, in 4K. In modern technology, the stunt doubling is really obvious, really, really obvious. Like you can, the guy riding the horse for Arnie is extremely obvious. The guy riding the motorcycle for the other dude is really obvious. Even some of the fight scenes. So there's just some dated stuff I think that doesn't quite hold up, but I think the movie itself is still good, and it's a good spy movie. And yeah, if for James Cameron and Arnie's kind of attempt at a James Bond movie, I still think it's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, talking about random 4K things, have you seen the photos of the Mad Men 4K pictures? See the shots of like the vomit guys in the background.
Yeah,
yeah. But Jonathan, what are your thoughts about True Lies?
No, I'm in total agreement with Austin, actually. Yeah, I think there's dated stuff in the middle regarding the terrorists. Like, well, that's the 90s, I guess. I mean, okay. And I do agree with the Bill Paxton storyline. Yeah, if you take it out, actually it would make a difference, for sure. Now, as for the hotel room scene, and you know what scene I'm talking about with the dance. Yes.
Well, again, I think there's a way you could get Jamie Lee Curtis to that moment in a different way, like without Bill Paxton. I think there was a way you could have got her involved in the plot with her maybe stumbling into something, or maybe she just is running somewhere and she gets involved in a chase. There's a roundabout way to do it. If I thought about it, I could figure it out.
No. Here's how I would do it. Get rid of the Bill Paxton storyline. All right, since Tia Carrera is in the movie. Why does Jamie Lee Curtis knows something that's going on between them? Okay, and then maybe you could have her in the hotel room,
and then she follows him, and then gets involved somewhere.
And then the terrorists come in. Mm-hmm. So there you go. I mean, it'll be tighter. Bill Paxton's gone, unfortunately, and then there you go. We're back to the movie, to the meat of the movie. So yeah, I think it's a good action movie in retrospect, because I think some of the sequences are sensational. I love the third act with the plane. I think that's great. With him rescuing Eliza Dushku's character.
So fired.
You're fired. Yeah, and obviously the last scene is great. So yeah, I think that it has waned on me over the years, but it's still a good, enjoyable action from Cameron.
Yeah.
But moving on to number 5, I haven't changed my board, so I'm not going to bother showing it. You know what it is. Austin, what do you have?
I'm going with The Abyss at number 5.
Jonathan, what do you have at 5?
Okay, let me see. Oh, you're not going to like mine. The Terminator.
Ooh, no.
And Rich,
we're going to have to go to the chat then, because I got The Abyss, Joseph Clark.
So Eric, The Abyss, or the Terminator at or Eric or Stephen, who's both in the chat. First one they'll see
they both disagree.
And it is going to, and Eric comes in.
Okay.
It is going to be
Sure.
Okay. All right. As long as Terminator is at least in like the top 4, I'll be okay with it. My God.
I mean, it's going to be. It isn't already.
I know. This might be another tie though, depending on what Richie says. I don't know what he's going to say for 4, so we'll see. All right.
All
right, fair enough.
But yeah, The Abyss. The Abyss. I watched it for the first time this year for when we did the 89 letter series, and it's another one that it took me ages to get to, because it for the longest time it just wasn't anywhere to be seen until it was put onto Disney Plus. But I think The Abyss, is it's a really good sort of underwater movie as well, and it just goes to show James Cameron does underwater really well. Even in the documentaries, like his underwater sequences is always a lot of fun and really good, and just it's but yeah, I think The Abyss is really good. I think Ed Harris is really good in the movie, and I think it's just a really fun science fiction movie in general. But Austin, what are your thoughts about The Abyss?
Yeah, no, I caught it. I think it was it last year or the year before where they did the re-release in theaters, the one night only thing. I still have the poster from it, for like it was for the 4K release, and it might have been in 2023 for the anniversary as well, something like that.
I think it was
or last year. Or last year. I'm sorry, 'cause it was
25 years,
89.
35
Yeah,
years.
yeah, with the anniversary. But I caught it in theaters, so that was
Yeah.
cool. Because it'd been a minute since I watched it. Yeah, the restoration looked really good because all I had was a really crummy DVD for a while. So I'm glad there's finally a 4K. But yeah, no, I think the underwater sequences are excellent. They hold up, and they're just as good now as they were then. And that's attests to James Cameron doing practical effects work and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, you get a little bit of the stuff you would see in T2 with some of the CGI. So that stuff is a lot of fun. And yeah, I think that what puts it over for me is man, I love Michael Bihn's performance in this, and I'm a big Michael Biehn fan. And he's going to be evil like in this and Tombstone because he has an evil mustache. Evil mustache, he's going to be bad in both movies. But I think he plays it really well with him slowly losing his mind underwater and the psychosis kind of getting to him and him flying off the deep end. He's great. Yeah, Ed Harris, excellent. And yeah, it's a really creative, interesting way they do the third act with what Ed Harris has to do in the plummet, and how they make that work. So it's some really creative stuff here, and I really like it. Yeah, if you haven't gone back to see it, I mean, it's hard to catch it in a theater, obviously, but at least catch the 4K. It'll look really well.
But Jonathan, what are your thoughts about The Abyss?
I think it's a very underrated sci-fi movie because we just take Cameron for granted with his visual effects films, but then we like Titanic, Terminator, but then we always forget about The Abyss. And The Abyss is an interesting movie, combining an underwater story with a romance with a sci-fi story, and they're all handled really well. Yeah, this 4K, I've been waiting for an upgrade for a long, long time because the DVD was awful. And all I had to do was watch it through VHS. I was very confused at first about Bean's character, but then I watched it more. It's like, oh, it's foreshadowed very well because Master Antonio's character says something about high pressure nervous syndrome.
Yeah,
and it actually works really well to his character now, knowing that he becomes more paranoid and like very villainous and is wacko. So yeah, he does give a great performance. It was so great that I think he should have been in conversations for a nomination, in my opinion. I think he's great. Obviously, the third act for me was the selling point, was the best part of the movie, where he just goes up plummeting, and then Master Antonio talks to him. Now, I do recommend the theatrical version over the extended version. I think the extended version, I saw it for the first time ever, and I think that goes on a little too long. Whereas the theatrical version I got with this tight explanation. So, yeah, it's basically Contact underwater or Arrival underwater. So that's what I took away from it. So yeah, really good movie. Yeah.
And Richie, what are your thoughts about The Abyss?
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much more to add. I think it's a slow for me because I haven't watched it as often as the other ones. I only did a rewatch for this, and it's like my third viewing. But yeah, he shoots underwater really, really well. Yeah, I think it's I do think it's a great movie, and he just the building attention is great, and Michael Biehn is a standout. And I watched the theatrical version and watched the extended. And yeah, it's a really good film. I'm sure we'll probably, or maybe on other peak viewings it might go up. But yeah, it's still a really good film. And I think, I have no problem with being a 5 either. So, that it's, I think people need to see it. So, yeah.
But we're moving on to number 4. Austin, what do you have for number 4?
Titanic at number 4.
Jonathan, what do you have for 4?
The Terminator.
Richie, what do you have for number 4?
Titanic.
I've still got the Terminator, so going to the chat. Titanic or the Terminator for the first comment I see is the one that's going to decide what ends up there. And it's going to be Titanic. But yeah, Titanic is easily my number 1 personally. But I'll talk about it when we get there. But Austin, what are your thoughts about Titanic?
No, I don't think you'll find any Titanic hate on this panel. That's for sure. We don't have any of the downers on Titanic. No, and I'm not down on it at all. I think it's great. To me, it just attests to my top 3 being as good as they are. That's all it is, and being some like my favorite movies of all time. No, Titanic is excellent, and it's one of those things that you got. In the 2000s, you get maybe kind of dunked on or made fun of by a bunch of rubes, if you said you like Titanic, because of, Leo and the love story and whatnot. But I've always gone back to it because I just think the back half of the movie is a damn good disaster movie. I think it's a really damn good disaster movie, probably one of the best ones ever made. And I can appreciate, again, all the practical stuff that Cameron put into it, all the set designs, all the water stuff. Again, a lot of underwater, type sequences and things like that. It really works. The tension is great as it's going down. It just builds and builds as you see the ship, going up and down. But I do think the love story at the center is still very good. You could definitely do a drinking game to the Jack and Rose thing and be dead by the end of the movie. Jack Rose. But it works. There's a lot of great character actors throughout the movie, which definitely helps it. My boy Billy Zane doing his thing. He's sick of talking about this movie, by the way. Don't talk about the, if you interview him, he's talk about him. Talk to the Phantom. Talk about Demon Knight. Anything except Titanic. He's sick of it, but he is very good in the movie. He's very punchable and does some shitty things, and he's fun. But yeah, it's really really good, and this made Leo a star, obviously. So we're grateful for that because he went on to a lot of awesome movies that have put him into the A-list. So no, really really good movie, and I appreciate it even just as a great disaster movie. So it works.
But Jonathan, what are your thoughts about Titanic?
Yeah, you're not going to get any hate from me. I think it's a masterfully told story. As it begins with the old lady, old Rose, telling her perspective about her experiences of being on the Titanic.
To Bill Paxton.
Yeah, Bill Paxton again. Yes.
Yeah, I love Bill Paxton. Come on, he's one of Cameron's guys. I love him.
Yeah, we're gonna talk to him. We're gonna talk about him a few more times. So let's just put it that way. Yeah, Bill Paxton. Yeah, because he's pursuing this diamond. As he explores the Titanic. Yeah, it's very great in terms of narration. The love story is great. Leo and Kate, they were basically called the Gone with the Wind couple of that time, of that era, and I can see why. Their chemistry is off the charts. I wish they could do like a third movie together, maybe a Scorsese movie. I don't know. So they're great. I loved David Warner's performance as the henchman. I thought he was great as Zane's henchman. Francis Fisher, Jonathan Hyde, he's good. Yeah. Victor Garber. Yeah, and also that third act, the disaster portion. I don't know how he did it. I don't know how he pulled it off. I'm still in awe watching that movie every time I rewatch it, and very well detailed in terms of how they handled that set design and the ship itself. I mean, they built the ship. From the external side. So
they built that and then amassed these massive sound stages for all the different sequences with the water, and it's insane to watch just from a technical aspect. It's really good. Extraordinary,
and I understand why they won a lot of those accolades at that time. So yeah, Titanic is superb. It definitely gets better and better upon rewatch, especially compared to today's movies.
Yes.
So yeah.
But Richie, what are your thoughts about Titanic?
Yeah, it's certainly better than Titanic 2, which I have seen.
Me too.
If you ever, and no, it's fantastic. Yeah, the just the costume design is also really good. The use of the sort of the love story. I think the love story is fantastic. The chemistry's fire, and I still don't know how they managed to have sex in that car. That would have been uncomfortable.
Well, Richie, no, go ahead.
Okay. I think
Jonathan's like, well, I tried it last week. Let me tell you, you have to get the right angles. But those old Model Ts are a little tough to maneuver.
Yeah,
Not a lot of legroom.
Well, my back is still hurting.
Yeah.
But no, it's fantastic. The how they show the sequence with obviously the third act where the ship is sinking and you got the passengers falling from one side of the ship to the other. Just it looks like it's just like a feast for the eyes. And I remember when this came out, it was like I think it was one of like the first sort of like adult quote unquote movies I saw, and then like I had to like sort of argue with mum and dad to get me to watch it because it was not even because it was like the it was like adult, just because it was all that it was long and they didn't want to sit in the theater for that long. So I ended up going with my friends who lived down the road. But yeah, it was fantastic movie. Still up to this day. And I don't get this like the retroactive. I feel like the hate is retroactively. I feel like I think people have gone. It's just been fun to hate on like now. I don't know why, but.
I think it was more fun to hate on then. I think people have kind of come around to it now, from what I've seen. I think it was more of like a cliche thing to hate on it back then, and now people have like been like, no, Titanic's like a good movie, dude. It's not a bad movie.
It's like all that. I mean, the soundtrack is fantastic. I could, I'm not the biggest Celine Dion fan, but that song's good. Yeah, that song's real. But now, unfortunately, I can't think of Celine Dion without thinking of Ariana Grande's impression, which is really inappropriate, by the way. Titanic rules, and I would be happy with whichever it's set in the top four. I think it's about 4 is a good spot for it.
Titanic is a movie that I just really love. I've gone back to it many times, and. Like any time it gets re-released in cinemas, I'm probably going to go and see it. So I actually watched it. I think around the pandemic time when they were just doing a lot of re-releasing, and I saw Titanic like in 3D for the first time, it really worked as well. But yeah, and it's one of those ones. Like I know there's a lot of criticism about there was enough room in that door at the end. Mythbusters actually proved that wrong. Even if they both got on, it would have sunk fast with both of them on it. Mythbusters actually did
they were already both soaked. It's super cold outside and the ocean's cold. She would have died of frostbite and the cold as well had they not come back for her. So it doesn't really matter. That's
exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
he was dying of hypothermia. He wouldn't be able to climb up on that thing.
Yeah. Because and even if they tried, it would have just flipped over anyway. It's but it and I know some people criticize the love story in there, but I think it worked. It helped give you characters that you actually care for in the movie, it would have been a fun disaster movie if that was just the whole movie. But I think some of these times the disaster movies are a lot better if they give you characters that you can connect with, and then if one of them dies, it does make that little more impact. But it's a good movie, and it's one of those ones knowing the panel I had, I knew that his action heavy movies probably was going to go over this. But
we still talk about Jack and Rose to this day. I mean,
Hey, but at least you have nobody on this panel voting at like number 8, man. So just be grateful for that, Malcolm.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Probably like one of your friends still like a iconic line, like people always use.
But moving on to number 3, Jonathan, what do you have at number 3?
The Terminator.
Richie, what do you have at number 3?
The Terminator.
The Terminator. And Austin.
No, I knew where this was going to go, and I'll explain my reasoning with T2. So,
Trainspotting.
Yeah, T2 Trainspotting.
But
I totally get like where this is going. I'll explain my reasoning. So we'll get there.
Jonathan, what are your thoughts about the Terminator?
Yeah, Michael Biehn shows up here again. This is a very interesting origin story. This is as close to a horror movie as it will come for James Cameron. It definitely plays like that. And it is very scary, with Arnold being the very bad, violent Terminator just pursuing Sarah Connor, Linda Hamilton. That's basically what it is. It's a chase movie. It's a chase picture. But also the love story gets overlooked. I think it's a very strong love story between Sarah and Kyle Reese. You understand what they're going through, and you connect with them, and you buy the romance. Especially in that great hotel room scene as they, confess their feelings to each other. Mm-hmm. Brad Fiddel's score is great. In the third act, it's very good. I think there's just some effects that, do not hold up. I understand it's low budget, so that is unfair to say. But even though I don't watch it as much as compared to the top 2 and Titanic, it's still a good, effective sci-fi horror movie. I'll call it that way, sci-fi horror movie. Mm-hmm. It's still great action. So, yeah, and it kind of made Arnold a star as well. Yeah, I know he had Conan beforehand, right?
Yeah,
he did Conan and a few other things, but I think it's the combination of this and then this got him going, mm-hmm. and then you get like Running Man and Predator, and you start amping it up. You kind of in late 80s,
So it's basically a start for him. So
mm-hmm.
So I appreciate all these 3 performances, but obviously I like the sequel better. So we'll explain why. But
But Richie, what are your thoughts about the Terminator?
Yeah, I love Terminator. I do watch it as a sci-fi horror movie, even though that there is obviously a lot of good action in there. I think it plays well as a horror movie. It's just I think it is pretty terrifying, and I think it just works. I think even though the effects may not hold up, I think that they're great for the time. I think Linda Hamilton's great. Michael Biehn again, man, just a underrated actor to this day. He's fantastic in this, and just a great sort of great almost like coming out party for Arnold Schwarzenegger, and sort of a star-making performance, which would only be solidified by the sequel. But I think I had more fun with the sequel, but the Terminator is definitely it's fantastic and definitely cult classic. I could watch this any time. If you put this on, if this is on TV or whatever, I'll sit down and watch it. So
I mean, and for me, despite me trying to get it at number 8, I do think the Terminator is a good movie. It's just never been one that I've watched a lot, and it's just never been one that's connected to me. I did give it a rewatch for this, to see if my views changed. It hasn't really changed much when I did the because I did a big binge of all the Terminator movies. It was either late last year or early this year. Just because they're all on Amazon Prime at the time, so I thought, I'll watch them all. I have come around to them because there was a time where I just did not like these movies. Like T2 was the reason I didn't bother with any of the other Terminators after that. But it's a good movie. I do enjoy them. Whether or not I don't know how often I'll go back to them, but yeah. Awesome. What are your thoughts about the Terminator?
I don't think it's like surprising to anybody who knows me. So I've talked about this on tournament fights and whatnot. It's really like a very small difference, and to me, I'm still going back and forth the difference between like a number 20 movie of all time for me and like a number 40 movie of all time. So it's still like two incredibly amazing, great movies, in the history of cinema. To me, the Michael Biehn performance is what like puts this one slightly above T2 for me, because I think he just comes in and just absolutely owns every scene he's in. I love the stuff where he's breaking it down in the car. It can't be bargained with, can't be reasoned with. It doesn't show pity or fear or remorse, and it will not stop ever till you are dead. All that stuff is so good. I think he just anchors this movie in a way that's really, really cool to watch. And seeing Linda Hamilton's slow transformation of the movie really works. I think Arnold's legitimately scary in this one. I just like the guerrilla filmmaking of it all. I love the kind of 80s Los Angeles, the way they use the city throughout the movie just really works for me as well. And I like that gritty nature and how the story is just simple. It's a simple story. It's this robot from the future. This lady's a threat, and here's the guy who's going to try to protect her. They keep it very simple. And I wish the Terminator franchise would go back to being simple rather than as overly complicated as it's gotten. And they're trying way too hard for a premise that just works. So it's just these little slight differences in Terminator and T2, but I totally get it. Like T2 rules. Like we'll talk about it here, I'm sure, in a minute. But yeah, it's great. But yeah, I've always appreciated kind of the horror aspect of it, and it just works for me in the setting. So yeah, I just have it slightly higher. That's all.
And Jonathan, what are your thoughts about the Terminator?
You went first.
You went first.
But we're down to our top two. We're going to vote for our number one, but we will still talk about the number two anyway. And I'm curious to see where this is going to end up going.
This is going to be interesting.
But Richie, what do you have at number one?
It was close, but Terminator 2.
Aliens. Awesome.
Aliens.
You didn't have to need war on the board.
I'll just go like this. Yeah, I'll just go like this.
Jonathan.
Get away from her, you bitch. Aliens.
Yeah. But I imagine a different panel would be T2 on any other given day. You know what I mean? I think it's, and I would not have been surprised, nor would I have complained. You know what I mean? Because again, it's amazing. So, yeah.
But first we'll talk about T2. Richie, what are your thoughts about T2?
I think it's fantastic. And then the way they switched on it, it's almost like this. This is more like action, sci-fi, almost blending comedy, and I think he has great Kevin. Arnie sort of like the kind of more anti-hero, but sort of not more good guy, but like his chemistry with Edward Furlong is fantastic. Just Robert Patrick is great. I think the action is just some of the best action put to screen, and the special effects still hold up to this day. It was my favorite film on having voted for on Tournament Fights a couple of years ago. I have stick to my guns, and it still is. I won't really watch it since then. This movie rules. But yeah, it is pretty tough because Aliens is also one of the best sequels of all time. Which we'll get to talk about. And it's also one of my favorite movies. But yeah, so this is it's like choosing your favorite kid, which sometimes is easy. But yeah, T2. It's just everything about it works. I think Arnie he cements his coolness factor here. He cements how he's just an action star and his charisma. He's going to be more charismatic than in this role. I think he's so just magnetic on screen, and I love his pieces.
I have no idea when StreamYard started putting timers on the banners. I do quite like T2. I think it's a really good movie, and I am a sucker for science fiction movies. And it's just one of those ones that I think a vengeful robot from the future. Weirdly enough, I really hope that's not going to end up being our future in the end. Because the way AI is going, and it's becoming a really scary reality. But yeah, I just think it's fun. I think Arnie's really good in it, and yeah. But Austin, what are your thoughts about T2 Judgment Day?
No, I mean T2 still rips. Like this movie's great, and the fact that it still holds up, 35 plus years later, whatever it is, now, like is a testament to the effort that Cameron put into this movie at the time. The fact that the CGI still holds up and looks better than some CGI today is like holy shit. Like that guy, put a lot of care into it. But what sets it apart is the fact that, again, he cared about practical effects as well and stunt work. And there's just one incredible stunt sequence after another. From, near the beginning, the truck going off the bridge into the LA River thing is still like, oh my God, like they did that. That chase sequence. You got all the stuff with the motorcycle, like in Robert Patrick, in and out, to the helicopter stuff at the end where that, man, kudos to that pilot for like not only navigating like under that overpass, but then doing the quick like up and over on there. And you're just like, holy shit, like Cameron pulls back the camera and you get to see all of it in great detail. And it's not like a bunch of hyper editing and all around, like you see everything and it works. The cast is great. Linda Hamilton's transformation in this movie is fantastic. I like where her character has gone in this one, and it really works. Arnie's a total star. My only little nitpick is like, I think Edward Furlong's performance can be a little wonky here and there, which is why I put Terminator over T2 sometimes. He's like going through puberty during the movie, and like I think he's a little whiny sometimes here and there. But I still like the actual character. But there's so much good that it outweighs any little like nitpicks I might have about the whole thing. So the fact that Cameron made two of the greatest sequels of all time is a really testament to that dude. One of which he's taking over a franchise and the other which he's expanding on his own, one that he started. It does what good sequels should do, which is like introduce a nice, cool new element, but still keep it fairly simple, keep it straightforward, expand the mythology a little bit, and do it to the highest degree. So T2 rocks. It's great.
And Jonathan, what are your thoughts about T2?
Basically what I was going to say that Austin just said. It expands the lore very well. It twists the plot, the premise, and it makes us care more about the Terminator. So, and Arnold does give a kind of a funny performance, but also a very heartfelt performance as he bonds with the young John Connor Furlong. But Linda Hamilton, she rocks. She rocks in this movie.
He knows how to write for females. I'll say that, man. Cameron has a knack for writing great, strong female characters. So I've always given him credit for that. Like he got another one here.
Yeah, you can make a questionable case for True Lies, but but this one, I think she rocks in this movie. We understand her character more. They expand her character. She doesn't let down her guard. I think it's a terrific movie with terrific performances. One of the best sequels of all time. And we're going to talk about another one. So there we go.
One of the great CGI shots that still makes my jaw drop, I just want to shout out, is when Robert Patrick walks through the bars. When he stops, he like hesitates, and then he just slowly walks through the bars. And then and then there's a nice little gag where the gun gets stuck or whatever, and he has to unjam the gun. But like, I still go like, holy shit! Like that still looks great. It's 1991, so kudos to ILM, man. They killed it in that movie.
Almost 35 years later, it's still jaw dropping.
Oh yeah.
I don't know why it took me so long to realize this. Most of half of James Cameron's filmography starts with the letter A. The other half starts with the letter T.
Interesting. Okay. That's
I
interesting.
mean, depending on how you want
thought
to
of that.
the abyss,
And then the Avengers got buzz.
But
What, is he creating like a double helix or something with this? I mean, what the heck is he doing?
but moving on to the number one movie, which is Aliens.
Aliens.
I think Aliens is a really good sequel, and it's one of those ones that and it's rather like I get it if you want to get put it as a horror sequel and thing, I get it. If you consider it more action than horror, I also get it. But it's still a good movie regardless on how the genre is and whatever. But because I think it works. I think Sigourney Weaver is just as good in the movie. And yeah, I think it's just a movie. I haven't gone back to and rewatch the Aliens franchise in a while. I actually might get around to it maybe next year or something. But yeah, I think Aliens is good. But Austin, what are your thoughts about Aliens?
mean, I think it's kind of mid, honestly. Like I've kind of soured on it over the years now.
You're one of those people who buys the band T-shirt but doesn't know any of the songs from the band.
Yeah, it's like I don't know. I kind of just saw it on sale one day and just bought it. No. I mean, obviously, anybody who knows me for more than like a day knows it's my favorite movie of all time. Like, and it's kind of interesting how it's become that because it's up against heavy competition with Tremors and The Mummy. Two other movies I've seen 1,000 times. But I just think it's kind of a perfect movie in its form, and I think it does everything well from the visual effects to the score to the ensemble. Everything in every place. Like it perfectly builds up the tension over time. It does again, just like T2, and he did it here first, expanding on that original mythology without tarnishing anything from the original because we keep the Ripley character, we expand on her. She's in an interesting position here where she goes with her character. And I think she totally becomes the icon here in this movie. I think she gives an amazing performance. I love the mother-daughter dynamic with her and Newt. I think that totally works. You know exactly who these Marines are as we introduce the ensemble. So you know who Bill Paxton is. You know who Michael Biehn is. Jeanette Goldstein. Like, again, another great female character is Vasquez. Like, all these guys, and you get to know them very, very quickly. And you actually give a shit about them. And they all have, like, great little mini character arcs throughout the movie. Paul Reiser is incredible as a great corporate weasel as Burke. He's amazing. But, yeah, man, the fucking Stan Winston putting together that Queen alien is still one of the craziest puppet animatronic creature designs I've ever seen. It's insane, the scale of that thing. So please, if you haven't gone back and watched the behind the scenes of that movie, putting together that Queen, and he also created the T-Rexes like for Jurassic Park. Like that dude's a master. He knows what he's doing. And then it has one of the great. I've always called it. Cameron's really good at the double climax, and that's what it is because this movie has a double climax. You think it's kind of over when they escape the planet, and then you get an even crazier climax with the power loader and the one-on-one fight, and it works. So yeah, I can't gush enough about this movie. I've done it on many platforms. I'm not going to sit here and take up an hour of you guys' time gushing about this movie over and over again. I think it's like the greatest thing ever. So it just is. And of course, Malcolm, as soon as he goes, "Oh, we're doing James Cameron," yeah, I got to have Pez on. Yeah, I get it. So
yeah. Well, I mean, that, but I also knew you're a fan of True Lies as well. So
no, I'm a fan of like Cameron in general. Yeah. Anyways, yeah, I could talk about all these movies. Yeah, they're great.
Yeah. But Jonathan, what are your thoughts about Aliens?
Yeah, this movie sucks. No, no.
Trash, bro. It doesn't hold up.
No.
Yeah.
No, Aliens it's excellent. It's an excellent sequel. I prefer Alien because it is one of my favorite movies of all time, but also Aliens is also one of my favorite movies of all time, and it's one of the best action movies ever made. Mm-hmm. Because it doesn't just expand on the characters, but it utilizes the action sequences that it gets you caring about these characters involved, especially the first batch of Marines. Like Austin said, we get to know all the Marines. Like basically when they wake up and like, I know this character, I know this character, I know this character. And when the first batch gets wiped out, I was like, oh shit, like who's left? And then we care about these others more as these group of Marines dwindle. Sigourney Weaver. She's incredible in this movie. Now that we know that Ripley is a mother herself, and we explore her backstory a little bit, and we see that her daughter, she dies, if I remember correctly. I think she
died while she was in hypersleep. That's a scene in the extended cut. And real quick, I prefer the theatrical cut on this one for anybody wondering, because I don't like the fact that we go to Hadley's Hope before in the special edition. You know, we see Newt and the family beforehand. I think it works as a better movie when we're exploring the mystery of what happened before then. So it's one of those things, Jonathan, where I if I could make a Pez cut of this movie, I would just include one scene from the special edition, which is the scene where Burke informs her that her daughter died while she was in hypersleep.
Interesting.
Which is a special edition. But I don't like the fact that we go to LV-426 in that quick sequence, you know, and we see the dad get the face hugger and whatnot. I don't like that. I think it works better if we just get there and the shit's already gone down. Just me personally.
Okay, so basically, we see Newt first, and then she has to explain what happened to her family instead of seeing the family.
Yes.
Okay.
I think it works better if they get there and it's already desolate. It's already wiped out. Okay. I think it works better.
All right, that's interesting. Yeah. No, I still love that scene because it gives us the perspective of how far they come. The planet has come, you know, as they it becomes more of a territory there. I mean, it's more Marines, and also the company, but no, it's very interesting. But as the movie gets further along, we get to know all these characters. I think you forgot to mention Lance Henriksen.
Yeah, he's really good as Bishop, and I like the dynamic between the two of them and her not trusting him, and the fact that we as the audience get little hints that may not be able to trust him. You're still on the fence up until almost the last sequence, so whether or not you can trust him. And I think it works.
Well, that's exactly what I was going to say, actually. So you covered that. The second climax, that's probably one of the best climaxes I've ever seen.
Yeah,
and it's just the mano and mano. And with Ripley against the Queen, and it's just badass, and I'll never forget it. Sometimes I watch that scene on YouTube, you know, just because, and it's great. It's basically a mother defending her daughter, so that's basically what it is. So yeah, it's an incredible movie, incredible action, special effects, set designs, everything top to bottom. Yeah, I think it's just a near perfect movie for me. I think it is excellent.
And Richie, what are your thoughts about Aliens?
Yeah, I don't add much, but yeah, I think it's just a fantastic movie. We watched it recently for Wheeler Movies. It's great. Again, you don't want to focus on this, but Sigourney Weaver is so hot in this. She's really Katie O'Brien hot, if you know what I mean. Yeah, very. The motherly relationship she has with Newt is really great, which is why it's such a fuck you with it, and what they do in Alien 3. But it's so good. Yeah, the power loader is such a cool weapon. They even bring it back and reference it in Perfect Badlands. It's just one of the best sequels of all time, and I love all these characters. And the reason why it's sort of this pop culture phenomenon to this day, and I think obviously the first Alien has a lot to thank for that, but I think Aliens has a lot to thank for that with focus on like the marine characters as well, to get more focus on marine characters in this one, and I think it's just I have no problem with this being number one. It was a toss up. It was I could put this is one of my favorite movies of all time, one of my favorite sci-fi movies of all time. So I love Aliens.
But that brings us to the end of ranking for this week. And just to recap how the James Cameron ranking went, at number 8 we've got Avatar. At 7 we've got Avatar: The Way of Water. At 6 we've got True Lies. At 5 we've got The Abyss. At 4 we got Titanic. At 3 we got The Terminator. At 2 we got T2 Judgment Day. And at number 1 we've got Aliens. But with that, next week will be the last episode of Ranking for the year, and we're going to be talking about a Christmas topic, which is it's going to be top 12 Christmas episodes from TV shows. So it should be a lot of fun. There'll be a change to go from. But it was actually a very tight poll too, because there's a lot of love for Christmas Carol adaptations as well.
There's only been like 75 Christmas Carol adaptations, so that could be a tough one to whittle down.
Oh yeah, but
the Barbie one is pretty good. I might put that at like number 5. You know what I'm saying? We spent just to reference that. I don't know if Malcolm was on the episode. We did one thing where I went down a rabbit hole and tournament fights off to the side, where I was pulling up all the craziest Christmas Carol adaptations I could find online of like the posters and stuff that was completely real. And I was on the Wikipedia page, like looking up a whole list of. It's insane how many there are, and just going through it randomly and throwing posters up. I thought it was a lot of fun. So
yeah, no, I was on that episode. And and unsurprisingly, I don't. Hallmark movies was not in the contention. But anyway, that'll be next week, and then we'll be back in January. I'm thinking it'll be January 11th, which will return and will be the top 12 movies of 2026. So if you haven't put your name down on the post,
whoa.
Man,
26?
I'm not
You get a hold of those movies, man.
Primate was pretty good. Number 1. All right.
Look, the studios are getting really ahead of their screeners. I just like if they got all their screeners in a whole year in advance.
The hookup, man. Nice.
But it'll be top 12 movies of 2025. If you haven't put your name down on the post, if you're interested in being on that, do so soon. I'll probably end up picking the panel maybe the week before Christmas, and that just so I've got the panel set. But yeah, now that's what's coming up. But awesome making people for you online.
Yeah, mostly over on the Movie Hero Network. We do all kinds of shenanigans over there. We got tier ranker fights, tournament fights, Wheel of Movies with me and this guy down here, Richie Goodacre, every other week. We'll be doing our own Christmas episode in a week and a half or so. We're going to be doing Jingle All the Way for Wheel of Movies because we love that movie, and that movie's bonkers and batshit crazy. So we're gonna have a lot of fun talking about that. But we did just recently do an episode on Rocky, and that was a good discussion, breaking down those characters in that movie. That was great. And then, I've got all kinds of other shows on other networks. I've got a double dose of Silent Night, Deadly Night 2 watch-alongs. One was pre-recorded, so it'll come out next week with Wolfman over on Here's the Thing, where we did our drinking game. That was rough. We got 6 beers in. That was a rough one. So if you want to see me get obliterated on screen to Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2, you can do that, but also be on Kyle Flett's channel, Flett's Movies, just doing a straight-up commentary for that movie on Tuesday. Because I love that movie. And then Home Alone commentary as well with Ryan Permison over on And I Quote. So, I got a full week of stuff coming up, so you can find me all over the place.
You'll also be talking about Silent Night, Deadly Night Part 2 on the latest
1987 on Monday. So it's going to be mentioned 3 times.
That's on there.
Yeah, it sure is. Come on, it's the best Christmas movie of all time.
But Jonathan, making people find you online.
Yeah, you can find me on social media platforms on Twitter, Instagram, Letterboxd, Blue Sky, and Threads at different variations of Cinecaro. Instagram, I'll probably have a Christmas tournament. I don't know what yet, but I need to figure that out soon. Yesterday, I was with Jordan on talking about the best performances, our favorite performances, part 4. And tomorrow, I'll be on the Ladder Series, 1987. Great year for movies.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Not including Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, but no, there's a lot of.
It's great for certain reasons. Okay, it's a great bad movie. All right,
but another Christmas movie that's on there is Lethal Weapon. So hey, we're gonna talk about that. But no, there's so many Great movies. That it's going to be a tough one. Let's just put it to you that way. And Austin and Malcolm will be on there. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun.
But Richie, we can find people find you online.
Yeah, Little Movies, like Austin said, Jingle All the Way. That movie is, was unfairly hated when it came out. The movie was, Lonely Marts. We'll be talking about. We'll be doing a ranking of, pre-2000s tag teams, I believe. Yeah, and that should be fun. You can also find me on Letterboxd at rgood1989, where I've got just reviewed Friday Nights at Freddy's 2. Here we go. Here's my own. It's not a spoiler or anything. I just thought there comes a time in one's life when you realize life would be a lot safer if you just disowned your sister. Because she just can't stop like being friends with those. Just like they got you killed last time. Why are you going back? That's just not. Anyway, look that for there. Other than that, I'm around. I go and check out channel sometimes, doing some trivia. Me and Malcolm teamed up recently for Why We Love Horror. That should be up soon.
You can find me on. You can find me on Tape Free Productions hosting Rankum every week. Next week will be top 12 Christmas episodes of TV shows, which might be a really tough one. There's a lot of Christmas episodes out there of the various shows. I hope not, but
Beavis and Butthead, when the It's a Wonderful Life Beavis and Butthead episode. There you
go. You can also find me on my own personal channel, Mouse hosting Spear from the Past. Last week, I had Steve Mace on to talk about In Your House, Seasons Beatings, the infamous hog pen match, and Egg Santa Claus. But you can also find me this week. I'll be on tomorrow, just before the letter series at 8 o'clock. I'll have Jacob Barber and JPO on to talk about Ring of Honor All-Star Extravaganza 4 from 2008.
Can I ask something? Did JPO wiggle himself on that episode because you were talking about Ring of Honor?
Yeah.
Yeah, he literally just asked me to. And you can also find me on the letter series. I've made the brackets for 87. It's a tough one. There's at least one matchup.
Oh boy.
There's at least one matchup I know Pez will be conflicted about.
No. It better not be like Predator versus RoboCop in the first round, because that's going to suck. That's the case. Oh no.
If it's that.
Oh no.
Oh God.
Yeah,
it probably is. Yeah, damn it. All right. Well, I'll think about that all night before tomorrow. All right, sounds good.
But anyway, you can also I pop up here and there in other places too. And that is the end of Rankum for this week.
It's probably Ernest Goes to Camp versus Silent Night Deadly Night 2, and I'll be like really conflicted.
But with that being said, we'll see you next time. Have fun watching movies.
And stay frosty out there.
Yeah.
Small chance of success.